Hey y'all, hey y'all. When I tell you that I was rushing, trying to get on here, I was rushing. I was rushing. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what it is. You have 30 minutes of practical wisdom and common sense. That's right. This is how we do it. We're going to have a heavy discussion today. We're going to get right into it today. Remember, submit your questions to askdryaya.com or message me on Facebook at Ask Dr. Yaya. Yeah, even here on YouTube. I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. When I get to 500 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway. And if you follow me on Facebook, you know how I get down on giveaways. How you doing, sis? It's good to see you. So I want to share something with you guys before we get started. I affirm that you received every lesson that you were supposed to learn today and that you were encouraged by every bit of inspiration that you needed today, right? But I want to share something with you, which I'm very excited about. Every time I get messages like this, I just really get excited. It really motivates me, and I'm ready to go. I received this message in my Facebook page. Excuse me. It says, "Hello, doctor. I just want to tell you that over the years, you have unknowingly enabled me to become my better self. I am in a healthy, equal relationship, and my health is better. Thank you, Kimberly." I am excited about that. Shout out to Kim. I certainly appreciate that. Anything that I can do to help you grow, to be a better person, I love to hear about it. I really do. I just really love to hear about these things. And it's what I'm here for. It's what I do. I'm giving you the truth, some common sense, some practical wisdom that you're able to develop and have the life that you want. You create the life that you want. I certainly believe that. I know that I've done it for myself. We have a question today, y'all. We're going to get into this because I think I'm going to open up the phone lines today. But we have a question, and this question was sent to me. And it's an interesting question because it's a question that everybody wants to know. Actually, it's something that everybody, well, when I say it, yeah, everybody, I would say that everybody wants to know the answer to this question. They want to know how to move forward in life with this question. But here it is. Dear doctor, I have been to seminars, read self-help books, and spent thousands of dollars on self-improvement, but success seems to be eluding me. I like how they how you doing? I see y'all. So I see I see how this person says success seems to be eluding them, right? We like that word eluding. But let me just say this. You want to know why you're failing. That's the real question. Yeah, why am I failing? Why am I failing at everything I'm trying to do? Why am I failing? And it's okay to use the F word. You use every other F word. Come on, use it. Say failing, failure, failed. Just go ahead and use the word because it is what it is. So success is not eluding you. You're just failing. And that's what you want to know. I'm going to give you 3 reasons as to why you're failing. You ever meet someone, you ever have that cousin or that relative, I know I certainly do, that keeps trying stuff and trying to do stuff, but it never takes off. They probably have this you get rich quick schemes and they never take off. Anything like that. Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to discuss it and we're just going to be real about it. So first, let me say this. Success is subjective. Okay, so success is subjective. When you start going to these seminars, what you're doing is that you're trying to compare what they did to what you have a desire to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that we like to kind of fit a pattern and try to pattern our lives after some things, but there's a danger in that as well. So this is the thing. So now success means you've accomplished something, a goal, an aim, or a purpose that you set out to do. So now you have to realize this. Say you're running in a race, right? So you're running in this race and your goal is to finish the race. That's your goal. You run the race, but you don't come in first, you come in last. So did you succeed? Now, based on the fact that you said you just want to finish, you will call that success. Now, Let's view the same race and the fact that you said you wanted to win the race and come in first. You didn't do that. So did you fail? You see what I'm saying? So success is subjective. It's very subjective. So you've read these books and you've gone to these seminars and they tell you things like, you know, every CEO, every successful CEO gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning. They start their day early. Well, guess what? The garbage man and the newspaper boy also get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Right? So, I mean, what does that really mean? What does that really mean? So the first thing I want to talk about is that you have not defined success for yourself. That's one of the reasons why you're failing. You're failing at trying to succeed. That is why you have not defined it for yourself. You defined it based on what you read in a book or what someone else has done, but you really have not defined it for yourself. And anytime you don't define success for yourself, you will continue to fail. I know y'all don't want to hear that. I know y'all, because y'all go to these things and y'all get motivated and I'm just the greatest, and you are the greatest. I think you're great. But if you have not defined success for yourself, you will always feel like it's just out of reach. It's just out of reach. Let me tell you something. Success for a preacher is not the same as success for the CEO. Success for a mother is not the same as success for the woman who desires to get pregnant. Why? Because their aim and their goal about what they're trying to accomplish, totally different. Totally different. You have one woman having a desire to raise her children the best way that she possibly can. And then on the other hand, you have a woman whose sole aim is to just get pregnant. Okay? So if you don't define success for yourself, you will always fail because it won't be yours. You are getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you hate mornings. So your attitude is already messed up anyway. Okay, you already have a messed up attitude anyway because you're trying to use what Tony Robbins said about getting up every morning. Get up every morning and meditate at 3 a.m. You can't even get your thoughts together at 3 p.m. So here you are, you're struggling to do something that someone else has done and it's not working. You're failing. Why? Because you have not defined success for you, period. You have not done that. And so now it's the dreaded F word, right? It's the dreaded F word. The second thing and the second reason that you are failing at trying to be successful is that you are one-dimensional. Well, what does that mean, Dr. YaYa? I'm one-dimensional. That means you lack depth. You are superficial. You have one way of thinking about things. That's it. You say this is the way that it's going to be, and that's it. But see, there's a problem with that because then you don't give yourself an opportunity to grow. I hear all of these nice cliches about, I don't have a plan B. I'm only stuck on plan A. You know, my mind, I will not divert from that part. Okay, that's all well and fine. But will you give yourself an opportunity to grow? One-dimensional people will always fail. Always, without a doubt, will always fail. You can take it to the bank. Will always fail. Why? Because there's no room for growth. I'm going to do it like this. Someone can come in and say, you know what? Let me give you a bit of advice about, you know, how you might want to grow that or how you might want to market that. But no, not you. I don't need your help. This is the way I'm going to do it. It's going to be just like this. That's why when you're one-dimensional in anything, you will always fail. It doesn't matter in relationships and how you parent your children and how you deal with your coworkers and what you do as it pertains to your life. If you're one-dimensional, if you're superficial, if you lack no depth, you will always fail. So you have to do a self-evaluation and say, how am I viewing this thing? Am I just viewing it as one way? Or can I consider it to be maybe another way? And that's difficult for a lot of people. That is certainly difficult for a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you watch too much TV. That's real. I'm just being real. You watch too much TV. You think sometimes these reality shows are actually real. So if I can take this one-dimensional person into a relationship, they're like, no, you got to buy me a Birkin bag or you're not a good man. One-dimensional. That's what they do, right? It's the same thing on the other side. If we're dealing with men, right? If you are one-dimensional, you will always fail. And then you will try to figure out, how do I bounce back from this? The only way to bounce back from being one-dimensional is to allow yourself to grow, allow other people to see some things that you can't see and tell you that. People don't like correction, and they certainly don't like corrective criticism. You will always fail by being one-dimensional, by looking at it in one way and one way only. If you don't allow yourself to grow, you're going to fail. That's why you're failing. Point blank, period. The third thing as to why you're always failing when you're trying to succeed is that you don't know how to fight. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds ridiculous. I know. What do you mean fight? And the first thing that you ran to was a kerfuffle with your fist. That's the first thing that you ran to when I said you don't know how to fight. But what I mean by that is that there are two things that you take into every battle, into every negotiation, into every sit down, into every communication. And the first one are your emotions, and the second is your intellect, right? Now, if you are just using one of those, you don't know how to fight. If you're just merely using your emotions, right? Then you don't know how to fight enough to succeed. If you're just using your intellect, then you don't know how to fight enough to succeed. So you have to have balance. You have to have balance. Let me see. I don't know if anybody in here likes history or understands history, but I'm going to take you back to, let's go to ancient China, right? Now, most of the warriors in ancient China who fought, swordsmen, right? They carried two swords. One was a long sword and one was a shorter sword, which is called a companion sword. Okay. Now, let's liken your long sword to your emotions. You know, that extends out. Everybody knows your emotions will reach far. I mean, it goes, when you're angry, you're angry. When you're happy, you're happy. So we're going to call your long sword your emotions. We're going to call the companion sword, or the shorter sword, we're going to call that your intellect. Okay. That means a person has to really get up close to you and know you in order for you to use that, you know, because it's a shorter sword. So here you are, because people really don't know your intellect outside of, again, having a nice conversation with you. Now, there are some things that your long sword, your emotions, can reach anytime that you are in a situation. Then there are other situations where you can't really extend out your long sword or your emotions, and you have to use a shorter, or your companion sword, your intellect, to get you through. Okay, now if you don't have a balance of that, you are not strategic. And if you cannot be strategic, you cannot win. You will always fail. You will always fail. And another example of that, let me just say this. Someone comes up to you, you have this bright idea, and you say, okay, I'm going to be successful at it. I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. And as soon as someone says, you know what? I really don't like your product. I don't like how you're handling that. The first thing that you're going to say is, well, you don't have to buy it. And I don't know why you don't like it. You're just a hater. You're going to run right to your emotions. You're going to fail. You're going to fail at trying to be a success. Instead of using your intellect to say, well, you know, what was the issue that you had with my product? Using your intellect to say, okay, let me see how they may have a point. Let me see how I can do some things a little bit better than what I've been doing them. See, you're only strategic when you use both your emotions and your intellect to move you forward. But if the first thing that you do when someone doesn't like something is that you jump up, again, we're talking about success, not only in business, but in relationships, in friendships, right? Even dealing with your coworkers. If the first thing that you run to are your emotions, you failed. You have failed. You have to have both if you're going to absolutely succeed at what you have a desire to do. You can't weigh one without the other. You bring both of these things into a fight with you. And so we look at that when I say, the third thing is that you don't know how to fight. Most of you won't even fight for yourselves. As soon as something doesn't go well, you're ready to throw in the towel. Look, I give up. That's it. I tried it. I did it for a whole month. Means nothing. Nobody is helping me out. No one is supporting you. And you are ready to give up. You are ready to throw in the towel. You are ready to say, listen, I can't do this anymore. I just can't take it. You just got started. Again, when we talk about success, it's not just about business. This is every area of your life, period. Every area of your life. You have to say, look, am I willing to fight for this? Do I know how to fight for this? This thing is worth fighting for. That has to be something that you tell yourself. You can't just throw it. So what? You upset, mad. Somebody didn't like something that you did. You gonna throw in the towel? What is that? Oh, that's it. I don't care. Oh, they didn't like what I had. Oh, that's okay. Oh, no success in your relationship because he said, he didn't like the way you fried your chicken. What? We have it the worst, sometimes with our children. Our children can say something to us and we just feel so dejected, like, well, it's whatever. What? You don't have enough fight in you. You don't have anything in you to say, I hear what you're saying. And it goes back to the second thing, that I stated that makes you a failure at trying to succeed. And that is you're one-dimensional. One-dimensional. One-dimensional people easily get their feelings hurt. Easily get their feelings hurt. When you're a one-dimensional person, you easily get your feelings hurt. Because again, you don't have any growth, no maturity, no depth, so someone could come up to you and just tell you, hey, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And you view everything as negative. One-dimensional people view everything as negative. And that's not the way you're supposed to be. And I'm getting ready to say something because I keep it real. This is what we do. The majority of one-dimensional people always have haters. I know. That was too real for y'all. Usually, most one-dimensional people always have haters. I've had people ask me all the time, well, Dr. YaYa, do you have haters? I certainly do not. Nope. I may have people who may be envious. I may have people who may be jealous, but I don't bring out the hate in people. It's not what I do. It's not where my mind is. It's not where I go. These are just people who, I would say, who have not gotten to know me, as it were. So anytime you say, oh, I just got all these haters, you're one-dimensional, you're superficial, you lack no depth. So I know a lot of people don't like to hear that because that's what society has said. We have to be a culture of people who collect haters. Remember when the comedian said that? He said, if you don't have no haters, I suggest you get you somebody summer. That's utterly ridiculous. Ridiculous. And that's why most people fail, because of the way that they think. Ridiculous. Okay? Because if you're bringing out the hate in people, you got to check yourself. Like I said, I don't have any. I have people who are jealous. There are people who are envious, but I don't bring out hate in people. It's not what I do. And so if you bring out hating people, then that may be something that, you want to tweak just a little bit. Remember, we're talking about how you can be successful, right? We're talking about how you can be successful. And so when we consider how we think and what we do, because remember, your thoughts will lead to action. Your thoughts will lead to action. And so since we are a society who has a tendency, as it were, to get on the wave of things, you might want to consider, am I being a leader, or am I being a follower? Am I, what am I doing? What am I doing? Because remember, the question started out as, what am I doing, Dr. YaYa? I go to these self-help classes. I read these books. I've been to motivational seminars, and I've been hearing all of these people talk about what it means to be successful. You haven't defined success, for one. You haven't defined success. Number two, you're a one-dimensional person. You have only one way of thinking. You won't allow yourself to grow. And number three, you don't know how to fight. You don't know how to fight for your success. And so that deals with your emotions. If you're very, very emotional about every little thing, you will never succeed. Not in your relationships, not on your job, not on what you're trying to accomplish. It doesn't work like that. It never works. That's not how any of that works. And so here it is, 5 years later, you're still in the same place. You haven't moved. You're still doing the same thing you did 5 years ago. The only thing that has changed is your age. That's it. The only thing that has changed is your age. And now you're mad at everybody else. I can't see why so-and-so is growing and prospering, and I'm still in the same place. But don't worry about that, because you always have somebody saying, well, you know what, it just takes time. It just takes time. You always have somebody to stroke your back and tell you what you want to hear. And then another 5 years have passed. You'll have somebody to feed your ego, and tell you, it'll be okay. Everything in its own time, and everything has a season, and because y'all like to hear stuff like that. That's what you like to hear, because then you don't have to become accountable. And it says that you're okay and everything is all right, and you don't have to make any changes. And so that's what we like. We like that sort of thing. But I'm telling you, not so. Not so. There's a reason why you're failing. There's a reason why you're not succeeding, although you're trying. There's a reason for that. And so many times, you get to that place and you're like, oh, I should have been further along by now. What is going on? At some point, you're going to have to do a self-evaluation and say, I missed a curve, a turn, or something back there on this journey. It's something that I missed. Because in my mind, I should have accomplished this by now. See, we don't like to do that, because now, we're living in a time where everybody is so fragile that everybody gets a participation trophy, right? Just because you showed up, you get a ribbon. That should not be good enough for you. That should not be good enough for you. But we're in the age of everything is acceptable. Everything is, it's okay, and everything offends you. Someone telling you to improve yourself. Oh, I'm offended. My feelings are hurt. Everything now. But that is not the way that it is. Not if you're really going to be out there and say, this is what I have a desire to do. I've made up my mind to do it, and this is where I stand. You're going to have to do more than get your back stroked and somebody telling you, it'll be okay. Oh, you're going to be fine. Oh my gosh, you're just so wonderful. You're a wonderful person, and it's going to work out for you. It really is. I believe that it's going to work out. You just hold on. You know, how many times are y'all going to get tired of people stroking your back and say, wait a minute, this is tough, but I have to do it. I got to do it. This is tough. I have to do it. I got to get up. I got to get it going. I work out every day. Every day. I stated earlier what success was. Success is accomplishing that goal, that aim, that purpose that you have. I get up every day and work out. Is there a time that I roll over at 5 o'clock in the morning and say, I just don't, oh goodness, I don't feel like? Absolutely. Absolutely a time that I'm like, oh my gosh, I just don't feel like. But then I remember I set a goal for myself. I remember yesterday while I was running 3 miles, I said, well, tomorrow I'll do 5. See, you have to remind yourself, because everybody is not going to be there. And I certainly don't need anybody saying, oh, you know, it's okay, YaYa, because you know, you did 3 miles yesterday. But that was yesterday. Today is another day. I live in the present. I live in the present. Again, you have to know how to fight. That's one of the reasons you're not succeeding, because you don't know how to fight. Some people are comfortable where they are and will simply say, well, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Oh, I did those 3 miles yesterday. I can take, you know, I can do all right today. I don't have to really do anything. And you're comfortable with that. But you know, you set yourself a goal. But you're comfortable with saying, it's okay. I really don't have to, you know, finish that goal for today. Meh. That's the difference between people who fail and people who succeed. That's the difference between people who complain about their life and people who are living life. Big difference. Very huge, huge difference. And so we have to be mindful of that. We have to be mindful of that. And then we start looking for other people to make us feel better about failing. The F word. We don't like to use that word. You like to use the other F word, but you don't like to use that one. You don't like to use words like, you know what, I failed. And it's okay to fail. And it's okay to say that. Sometimes you better say it to yourself, because it merely means that you did not accomplish what you set out to do. That's failing. Let's talk about it. That's what it is. It's failing. But we don't like to say that. Oh, no, I don't. You know, it wasn't that. I just put it off for, okay, it's still failing. I mean, let's be real. I know some people don't like it, but it's still failing. If you said on Saturday, I'm going to get up and I'm going to start, say you're going to start eating healthy, right? And Saturday comes and you see everyone else eating things, junk food, just, I mean, all kinds of crap. But this is your Saturday to eat healthy. And you turn and say, well, I can put it off until tomorrow. I'm going to eat what everybody else is eating. You failed. You did not accomplish the goal. But see, we don't like to hear that. And I understand why we don't like to hear it, because it's a bitter and a hard pill to swallow. Again, it means you don't know how to fight, right? So to wrap this up, to answer this question, 3 things, right? 3 things and 3 reasons why you are failing trying to be successful, right? The first one was you have not defined what success is for you. You have to define that for you. No one else can define that for you but you. Okay. Number 2 is that you're one-dimensional. Give yourself some time to grow. Give yourself room to grow. Growth is painful. Change is not easily accepted by most people, but you have to do it. Don't become a one-dimensional person. Number 3, learn how to fight. You don't know how to fight. You don't know how to fight for your success. Remember, it's not just your emotions, it's not just your intellect. To be strategically ready for your success, you have to use both. Period. Period. So when you get all of those things together, when you say, okay, this is where I desire to be, this is what I want to be, this is how I have to be in order to succeed, then that's it. You start that's your starter package. That's your on my way to success starter package right there. And when you get into the habit of that and things start going for you, you can add to that. You can build from there, as it were. Remember, this has been your 30 minutes of practical wisdom and just straight up common sense. You are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated. And I'll see you on the next broadcast.